Hello, YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. The lighting is on, the fan is on, and I have no doubt that I am more in balance of darkness and light. It's kind of become a running joke with me. It's like shadow and light, darkness and light. My duality, if you will. So the time is approximately 8:55 p.m. Eastern Time, and the date is Sunday, April 19th, 2020. Now, there have been a few astrological changes since my last video. So now, the Sun is in Taurus, and the Moon is void of course. Now, very briefly, when the Moon is void of course, it basically means that the Moon is transiting from one sign to the next sign. So, by 3 a.m. and 6 minutes tomorrow, Monday, April 20th, 2020, Eastern Time, the Moon will be transiting, or rather specifically waning in Aries. So earlier today, the Moon was waning in Pisces, then the Moon became void of course, and now the Moon is going from waning in Pisces to waning in Aries. Quick fun fact and magic tip, do your best not to do any ritual work or spellcraft when the Moon is void of course, because, well, let's just say that what you want to happen will definitely not happen. Or if it happens, it may not be in a way that you will like. And yes, I'm the voice of experience with this. Anyway, so that being said, for those of you who are new to my YouTube channel, for those of you who are not, welcome back to the YouTube channel of yours truly, Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting and a Fan. And yes, I have the lighting and I have the fan. You can't see it, but you know it's there because I told you. Okay, so seriously, I wanted to take a few moments to lovingly and wonderfully and, you know what, I'll stick to lovingly. Lovingly remind all of you that with what's currently happening in the United States and in other parts of planet Earth, I am only available for phone readings and Skype readings. However, I keep forgetting that a lot of people actually want email readings as well. So for those of you who are like, well, I don't know about a phone reading, I don't know about a Skype reading, what about an email reading? You got an email reading. So see, as I have been fondly saying of late, you have options, and now you even have an additional option. You have tons and tons of options. So I'm going to start with Catland, or also known as Catland Books, because Catland is the first place where I began giving readings on a regular basis after not having done so for a long time. So even though Catland has a physical location, specifically in the Bushwick district of the borough of Brooklyn in New York City, there are people that have come to me for readings through Catland, meaning that they are paying what I charge for readings at Catland, and they have done it by phone or by Skype. It's a wonderful option for those of you who want the convenience of having a reading from your home office, from your work office, from your wherever, without having to physically travel to the Bushwick district of Brooklyn, or rather the borough of Brooklyn in New York City. So with Catland, I charge $90 for a 1-hour reading and $70 for a half-hour reading. So what that means is that you can have a phone reading, you can have a Skype reading, and you can also have an email reading. Now, towards the end of the video, I'm going to talk about how I make the time with regards to an email reading, because some of you may be like, well, how does he do an email reading with a certain period of time? I'm going to get to that, I promise. So my understanding is that anybody can pay with a card. You would just send the payment to the email address that Catland has set up for their PayPal account or PayPal.com account, and then you would send the payment to them and all that other good stuff. Now, with regards to notions and potions, you have the option of having either a half-hour reading with me or a 20-minute reading with me. Through notions and potions, the readings are $45 for half an hour and $30 for 20 minutes. Oh, and I almost forgot to say at the beginning of this, the fees are in US dollars. So I know that PayPal will convert the payment system that's in your country to US dollars. But if you want to have an idea, you can always use a search engine like Google or Bing.com and do like the currency conversion table and see what it is, from your country's system of currency to the United States system of currency. Now, with Notions and Potions, you would need to call the store directly. Even though Notions and Potions is closed for the time being because of the COVID-19 situation, what Cheryl had done is she had all of the phone calls that are going directly to the store forwarded to her cell phone. So basically you would say, hello, my name is such and such, and I'd like to have either a phone reading or a Skype reading or an email reading with Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, and I'm ready to pay you for this amount, for this amount of money, for this type of reading, and that kind of thing. If you don't get Cheryl directly, because sometimes she's doing other things, just leave her a message and say, I will call you back, or can you come in back at this number, or whatever the situation is. And that'll take it from there. And of course, you can also, and I will give you the email addresses for Catland, as well as for Notions and Potions if you want to contact them by email, because that's an option too. Now, you have what my rates are for readings through Catland and what Notions and Potions is charging for all of their phone and Skype readings, or rather all of their telephone and video readings. And it's not just me at Notions and Potions, it's all the readers. Now, the other option you have is because the Pandorica restaurant, which is a Doctor Who themed restaurant in Beacon, New York, is so especially sacred to me, anybody who donates a minimum $10 donation to the Pandorica restaurant's GoFundMe page, and then you either you screenshot and then forward that email to me, or you forward the confirmation email to me, I will give you the opportunity to ask the Sacred Oracle 3 of your most pressing questions, and I will use either a tarot deck, an oracle card deck, or a rune reading. If you want to do a combination of the 2 or all 3, I have no problem with that. We can, let's say for example, you want to ask your first question with the tarot, and you want to ask your second question with oracle cards, and you want to ask your third question with runes. I have no problem with that. In fact, I am a huge advocate of combining divinatory devices in one reading. I find it very layered, very intricate, very beautiful actually, and very powerful. It's super powerful. As some of you know, I have virtually all of Doreen Virtue's oracle card decks. Even though I almost never use them, I still keep them because they are still beautiful to me. But I distinctly remember there was a time when I would conduct a reading using several of her oracle card decks at the same time in the same reading. And I remember the reading that I conducted, the last time I conducted a reading using all of her oracle card decks at the time, I think I was using her first 9 or 10 or 11. So it was one of the most powerful and one of the most intense readings I've ever conducted. Still is. Anyway, so as long as you make a minimum $10 donation to the Pandorica Restaurant's GoFundMe page, I will happily answer your 3 most pressing questions. And I am doing that within a 24-hour period of me receiving that screenshot or that forwarded email. So regardless of what's going on with my professional schedule, regardless if I have 1 appointment that day or 10 or any number in between, I'm still going to conduct that reading within 24 hours of receiving that screenshot or forwarded email, no matter how abundantly full my schedule is. Now, I also want to mention that if none of those options work for you at all, like let's say for the sake of argument that none of those options work for you, I find that hard to believe, but just in case, because as I am fond of saying, I have no attachment to being right, and I have no commitment to being right, what I'm going to do is recommend that you tune in to the Instagram channel of one of my favorite people on planet Earth, the Michelle Swan Graham. On YouTube, she's known as Swan of Dreamers, and she began doing live Instagram videos on Friday nights beginning around 11 p.m. Eastern Time. I think it's been about a month or so or a month and a half. I don't remember offhand, but it's been about a month or so. And what she's been doing in her Instagram videos is she has been using cards, answering anybody's questions that have a question on the chat, and she's also been opening up the chat to discussing certain metaphysical and magical topics. Metaphysical, magical, mystical, spiritual. I'm pretty sure that there was one of her videos that I was unable to watch, one of her live Instagram videos where she talked about unicorns. I know there's been at least one. I know it. I don't think I've seen it because but I have enjoyed them. They've been a lot of fun. I really dig doing it. And the fact of the matter is that I'm always happy to recommend her psychic services to anybody. These days, she's actually, she's really the only one that I recommend first and foremost, especially considering that she has become a close friend over the years. I first met her at a psychic fair in another part of Brooklyn, and the fact of the matter is that I happily recommend her. She and I have this wonderful mutual admiration society, so recommending her is always a pleasure and always a no-brainer for me. So anyway, hold on, I have an itch on my nose or near my nose. That's good. That's a priority. Okay, let's come back. Thank you. Yeah, when you have an itch on the nose, I mean, I know these days everybody's saying don't touch your eyes, don't touch your nose, don't touch your mouth, don't touch your face. I do that automatically. I love, I do that because I find it very soothing, And if I have an itch on my nose, believe me, I'm not going to be able to ignore it, Anyway, so with that being said, this video in the description box will have an accompanying WordPress blog post. But in the description box, I will also include the link to Michelle's Instagram page. And if you subscribe to her, then make sure you turn notifications on. That way, every time she does a live video, you'll know about it. She's actually considering doing this 2 days a week, but the official designated date and time is Friday nights, beginning around 11 p.m. Oh, and very important, Instagram will automatically cut off a video that's approaching the 1 hour mark. I don't know why they do that, but as I say quite often and all too often these days, they did not consult me. So basically what she's been doing is she'll have the hour run up, and then after the hour she'll go back and do another live video, and she'll do that one for about 15 minutes to half an hour, depending. So I've been enjoying the variety of tarot decks that she's had and oracle card decks, and they're some of my personal favorites. So it's I really dig which cards come out for the other attendees of the live Instagram chat. So all that being said, I'm not going to tell you to wash your hands, because how many people have said that to you? How many times have you read that? As far as I'm concerned, you know how to wash your hands, you know what to do, and if you don't know how to wash your hands, you have so many more options to do that. I'm not going to say stay safe, because stay safe has become rote to me. I mean, it's something that people say automatically these days. There's no feeling behind it. There's no emotion behind it. There's no energy behind it. It's like, people might as well say, the sky's blue. Okay, and some people mean it, but some people say, well, they feel like they're supposed to say that. So, and I'm one of those people that when people, it's a thing. It's like, but what I will say to all of you is, you know your bodies, you know what works best for you. I stand for the miracle that things will resume in a way that makes a lot of us happy. I am counting the days, not literally, because if that happens, that's a problem. But I am looking forward wholeheartedly, body, mind, and soul, to the marrow of my bones, to being able to return to a cafe with a good book and have a big cup of coffee or a small pot of tea and forget about the rest of the world and just dive into that book. But until then, I wish all of you a beautiful night, a wonderful week, and may the great goddess bless all of you and yours with love, life, money, and magic. And good night. And there you go. Good night.